Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Yes, you can hear me. All right. Hello. Hi, guys. How's it going? Can you hear me? Oh my God, someone said no sound. I think there's sound now. Yes, you hear me. All right. Awesome. Thank you for coming. Oh my God, that was awful. I hate that. And then the recording that stayed on YouTube has sound. So, whatever. Anyway. All right. So I was telling you that the 7 universal laws. What are the 7 universal laws? All right. The 7 universal laws come from this book, The Kybalion. I don't know if in English it's pronounced differently. In Spanish, we say El Kybalion. All right. So, and this is an interpretation of the Hermetic principles. What are the Hermetic principles? Principles based on Hermes Trismegistus. All right. So these 7 universal laws are like the rules of the game, right? We always talk about how life is a game, life is a video game. Okay, these are the rules. So if you understand these, you will understand how to play. And if you know how to play, and if you get better at playing, you will understand how to win. All right. So I want you to consider these laws as a lens through which you're going to look at reality, and a lens through which you're going to start interpreting your life and responding to it. A lens through which you're going to start consciously creating your life. Because remember that you are manifesting 24/7. Your life is your manifestation, right? When we talk about, I will teach you how to manifest, what I will teach you is how to consciously start reprogramming your mind, which is creating your reality. That's one of the 7 universal laws. I want you to know that, sometimes people say there's more laws. There's not only 7 universal laws, there's 12 universal laws. It doesn't matter. For example, you will notice that in these 7 laws, there's no a law called the law of attraction or the law of assumption or the law of detachment, okay? So rather than, oh, there's 7 universal laws, this is not a religion, okay? This is simply a lens through which you're gonna see life, and this is like knowing the rules of the game. And after you understand this, you're going to start being able to apply it in your life. And this is important because I'm not only going to teach you the laws, the 7 laws. You can go on ChatGPT and ask, tell me the 7 universal laws, and you're going to read what each law is about. What I'm going to teach you today, the value that I'm going to give you today, is how to apply them. Okay? And in understanding how to apply the laws, I want you to realize that this is going to be a practice. The most important thing you need to know is that you need to practice these laws. It's like you go to the gym, right? And someone tells you how to do your exercises. Awesome. But then you need to practice every day, right? You need that consistency. And what else do you need when you go to the gym? Sorry, I'm gonna move here. What else do you need when you go to the gym? I don't understand this. You need to make it easier for you. You need to, there we go. You know what else you need when you go to the gym? You need to make it easier for you. If you decide, hey, you know what? I want to get fit, so I'm gonna start going to the gym. But then you get home and you open the fridge and it's full of candy and it's full of junk food. And then you go out with your friends and they are like, drink, 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 chug, 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 right? And then you hang out with your wife and she's like, no, I don't want to go on a walk. I just want to watch Netflix all weekend. Then your environment is making it really hard for you to be fit. All right? You're not making it easy for you to be fit if you are constantly watching videos of dessert, like reels of dessert, cake, ice cream. Oh, look at this dessert, right? So what I want to say is you are here because you want to manifest better and better, because you want to continue to expand, right? I'm telling you, okay, I'm going to teach you how. I'm going to teach you the rules of the game. But what you need to do is you need to practice this. And in order to practice them, you need to make it easier for you. So what do I mean? How do we make it easier to apply these laws? How do we make it easier to change my mind? Because remember, I always tell you, your mind is like a muscle at the gym, right? Like if I go to the gym once and I do biceps, I'm not going to have a bicep. But if I go every day and then I take my protein, I hit my protein goals, right? And I take creatine, right? And I learn every day, I learn better, I practice, then my muscle is going to grow. So with rewiring the mind is the same. Your mind is used to activating certain pathways, right? Neurons that fire together, wire together. What we want to do is we want to train the brain to start thinking differently. We want to train the brain to start reacting differently to my reality. Because you're attracting from your thoughts and your emotions, your mind and your heart. They emit a frequency that literally travels through the ether and attracts and affects matter accordingly. So to change my mind, to change my personality, to change something that I have been practicing for decades, to change an identity that I have been practicing for decades, to change ways of reacting that I have been practicing for decades, it will take practice and it will take consistency. And you know what it will take? It will take that you expose to this yourself to this type of content daily. And that's the point that I want to make. You will watch this class, you will understand these laws, and it will have no effect on you if you don't start applying them, improving your environment so that it makes it easier for you to apply them. For example, you will stop following all of those accounts that you follow on Instagram that put you in a bad mental state, that lower your vibration. You will learn the law of vibration here, right? You will start improving your environment, your relationships, the places you visit, the things you consume. Why? Because everything is a cause that is having an effect on you. This is another law, the law of cause and effect. You will see it, right? So the things you're watching on TV, the quality of content you're watching, the quality of your conversations, the quality of your words, everything has an effect on you. And that you is emitting a vibration that's having another effect. That you becomes the cause of another effect in your life. So what I want you is, after you watch this class, I want you to, if you're not already, I want you to start immersing yourself in this type of content, in the content that is holding you accountable, in the content that is pushing you to become the version of you that made it happen, because you can make it happen. I was talking yesterday on my Instagram about why do bad people have good luck and good people have bad luck, right? People ask that a lot. And the point is the following. It's not that some people have better luck than others. Luck doesn't exist. What exists is universal laws. The universe doesn't operate on morality. It's not, well, I'm a good person, so I should have good results. You can be a good person, but you can have a mindset of poverty. And that doesn't change how good you are. But your results are going to be of poverty. You can be a good person, but you can be constantly thinking of illness because you grew up in an environment where your parents were talking about illness all the time. All right? So it's not about being a good person. It's not just about being a good person. All right? So how do we master these laws? Well, you're going to have to get used to be exposed to this content daily. Something I did on my Instagram is I muted all of the stories, for example, all of the stories of people that are not my mentors. You know why? Because I only want to expose myself to content that serves me. This doesn't mean I'm not going to watch a movie here and there. This doesn't mean I'm not going to whatever, right? Like have leisure. That's not what it means. But is it useful for me to spend half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour a day watching the stories of people who went to high school with me? Is it useful to watch gossip? Is it useful to be up to date with what happened in Love Island? Right? So choose wisely the content you expose yourself to. And this is my invitation. If you want to practice these laws, if you want to be good at applying these laws, because that's what's going to give you results, not just knowing them. Knowing them will take you nowhere. If you want to become good at applying these laws, you need to expose yourself to this type of content daily. This is what changed my mind, guys. This is the big secret. The secret is become obsessed with mastering your mind. But a sweet obsession, like Napoleon Hill says, right? Like, not an obsession of like, oh, I feel guilty because I had a bad thought. That's bullshit. No. A responsible obsession of like, I expose myself to content that makes me grow because that's the type of person I am. Because I start seeing results and I love it, so I keep expanding, all right? Become obsessed with this type of content. And once you, and in that, obviously, I invite you to join my school. If you like this class that we're gonna have, join the school, because that is the perfect environment for you to grow. It is the perfect environment for you to continuously, daily be exposed to content and people and the mindset and an energy of growth, of transformation, and of faith. All right? So let's get started. First thing, this tree that you have here is your life. The fruits are your life, all right? Now, you will see that the main mistake people make is that they look at the fruit of the tree and the fruit is rotten, the fruit is bad, and they think they have to fix the fruit, okay? So they cut this apple off the tree. And then this one is bad, and they cut this one, and this one is bad. And then there's a new apple, and it's also bad, right? And you're like, oh my God, these fucking apples. You need to realize that your life is the same. Your results are these apples. The apples, your conditions, your current life, your condition, your situation, your financial situation, your romantic situation, your health, your friendships, how fun, how exciting your life is. How exciting your life is, that is your fruits, all right? Now, like with a tree, if you see that all of your fruits are bad, you don't fix the fruit. What you have to fix is the roots of the tree. You go and you heal the roots, right? You cut one apple off, you cut the other one off, you cut the other one off. Nothing changes. I need to look at the roots. I need to look at the soil. I need to look at the roots, right? All right. Well, with this is the same. I want you to realize that your life is not changed from the visible. What you see, the current job, the current husband, the current friends, the current this, the current that. Your life is changed from the invisible. This is what you're going to learn with the 7 universal laws, that it is the invisible that's causing the visible. The 7 universal laws will teach you that it is the invisible what's causing the visible. The invisible is the cause, and the visible, your life, is the effect. We're already talking about a universal law, the law of cause and effect. Other people know it as karma too. But the law of cause and effect, right? What is the invisible that's causing my results? The invisible that's causing my results is the mental and spiritual planes. My mind is creating my results. My roots are creating the quality of my apple. So one thing, there's 3 planes of creation. There's the physical. This is your 3rd dimension. This is your life. This is your life. This is your results. This is your bank account. This is your job. This is the quality of your relationships. This is your life. And then there's the mental. This is the intellectual plane. This is my thoughts. And then there's the spiritual. What is the spiritual? What do I mean by the spiritual? I mean the quantum field, the field of possibilities. All versions of reality are available in the quantum field. You heard Joe Dispenza talk about this. All versions of reality exist, like all versions of the radio. All radio stations are available for you. Now, the one you're listening to is the one you're tuning into. And how am I tuning into one version of reality? I'm tuning from my mind. So from all versions of reality, my mind is choosing one frequency and it's printing it into, like my mind is choosing it, and it's printing into the physical, into the 3rd dimension. So it is, I want you to see that it is the invisible, the spiritual and mental planes that are creating the visible, my 3rd dimension, okay? So that's what you're gonna learn with the laws. Now you're gonna see that these laws, they are all related, they intertwine, they work together, okay? But when you understand them, when you understand this, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to master your mental plane from where you're choosing from the spiritual in order to print into the 3rd dimension. This is why when you change your mind, you change your reality. This is why everything is available for you. Everything is available for you. This is why when I tell you your truth is that you are abundant, you can look at your reality and tell me, no, I'm not. Your truth is that you are. You have access to everything. You are. You are just choosing a version of reality where you're not. That doesn't mean that you are not abundant. So with that, we're going to get into the 7 universal laws. I'm going to teach you one by one the 7 universal laws. But to get started, the first law is the law of mentalism. The law of mentalism says that everything in the universe is mental. Your thoughts are things. What you think about manifests in your reality. So your mind is the projector and your life is the movie. We're going to go one by one, deep, in depth, all right? The second is the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence says that as above, so below. What is it? As above, so below. As in the mind, so in the matter. As within, so without, says the law of correspondence. As within, so without. Your life is a display, is a materialization of what's happening internally. The law of vibration says that everything is moving. Everything in the universe is vibrating. This that appears solid, in reality, if you look at it with a microscope, you will see it's energy. It's atoms that have a nucleus and electrons and neutrons, right? It's all energy. Everything is vibrating at a certain frequency, and similar vibrations attract each other. From here, we talk about the law of attraction. The law of attraction, like attracts like. Similar vibrations attract each other. That's why everyone in your life is a mirror of you. All right. The law of rhythm. The law of rhythm will help you navigate those down times. The law of rhythm says that everything is in seasons. everything. Look at the women's cycle, look at night and day, look at the seasons, right? Like everything flows. Sometimes your business is doing great, sometimes it's going slower, sometimes it's time to work harder, sometimes it's time to rest, and you need to honor those cycles. We're going to dive deeper into that. Then we have the law of polarity. The law of polarity says that everything in the universe is dual. Everything has opposites. Everything has opposites. So, for example, everything is duality. This is a really beautiful law because if you dive deep into, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but duality, everything has poles, okay? This will help you repolarize a problem. Napoleon Hill says that every adversity contains the seed of an equally or major benefit, right? So when you have a problem, that problem contains within it the seed of an equal blessing. You see what I'm saying? I don't remember the language. All right. Then we have the law of cause and effect. Every effect has a cause. Everything in your life is a result. Everything in your life is an effect of a cause. This law will invite you to bring consciousness, to bring awareness into your life, to be here now, to be present, to be conscious now, because everything you think, everything you say, everything you do has an effect. And this is the meaning of the fear of God. You know how religious people talk about the fear of God? The fear of God doesn't mean that you should fear God because God outside of you will punish you. No, my brother, you are God. The fear of God is the fear, quote unquote, the respect that you should have to the effects of the cause and effect, of the law of cause and effect. When religious people talk about God is everywhere, like God knows everything you do. God knows everything you do. You cannot hide it from God. What does it mean? Does it mean that God is like Big Brother watching you and waiting to punish you and judging you? It just means that everything you do, whether people find out or not, everything you say, if you lie, if you betray, whether they find out or not, you will have an effect. It will have an effect. So be conscious now, choose wisely. And it also means that everything that you're experiencing now, your fruits, are an effect of something in your roots, something inside. So instead of victimizing myself and thinking, why me? I responsibilize. I think, okay, what for? What needs to change in the roots so the fruits come out better? And then the law of gender. Some scholars also call it the law of gestation. The law of gender says that everything creation contains both feminine and masculine principles. Now, we're not talking about biological sex here. We're talking about feminine and masculine principles. We call it feminine and masculine principles to what? To the energy of intuition and receiving, that would be the feminine energy, and then the action, direction, and giving, which would be the masculine energy. This is not attributed to biological sex. This is just to understand that you need both energies to create. And we're going to talk about this because if we are imbalanced in those, then sometimes what happens is that, let's say I have an excess of masculine energy. I chase. I take action, but I don't allow myself to rest. What happens when you go to the gym and you work out like crazy and you don't rest? Your muscle won't grow. You will most likely get sick. or injured. So we need to find that balance of the masculine and the feminine. Now, some people talk about the law of gestation for this law, which is related because every creation requires an incubation period. So when I'm creating, when I'm manifesting, I'm working for something. I'm like, I'm going to manifest this new life or this new job or this new business or this new relationship. What happens? There's going to be a period of incubation, a period in which the universe has to restructure itself for it to happen. And with this, you're going to work patience, right? You're going to realize that there's stuff that is changing outside of you and that you have to let it cook. All right. So let's go. This was just like a preview of them. Now we're going to dive deeper into them. Now is when it gets fun. All good. Let me know in the chat if you need anything. If you're going to criticize, don't. Like, I'm not going to read you. But let me know if you have any questions, if you need me to go slower, if you're doing good. This is the law of mentalism. This is a huge one. Because I'm not just going to teach you the law of mentalism, you know. I'm going to teach you how to change your mind. Thank you. All right. So, guys, I hope you're taking notes. All right. The law of mentalism says that your thoughts are things, everything in the universe is mental. Everything in the universe is mental. Every time you guys say no sound, I get so scared. Not again. Okay, so now everything is mental. We know that my mind is creating my reality. All right. But what happens? What happens? My mind is creating my reality. Does that mean that if I think I am rich, then I am rich? No, clearly. Why? Because about 98% of your mind is actually unconscious. Unconscious. About 98% of your thoughts, you're not conscious of. This is why Bruce Lipton said that the biggest obstacle to achieve what we want is our subconscious programming. Because if 2% of my mind is saying, I am rich, but 98% of my programming says, hell no, then who's gonna win? So to show you how unconscious your mind is, let's do an exercise. Let's do an exercise. If you can, I want you to look around for 10 seconds. Look around for 10 seconds and count how many red things you see. How many red things you see? Let's go. I'm counting. All right, done. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And now tell me how many green things you saw. Green, not red. Your brain didn't capture the green. Why? Because you weren't looking for it. You were looking for red. That's how your RAS works, your reticular activation system. Your reticular activation system is the part of your brain that decides what it lets in. It's like the gatekeeper or the scanner. It's the part of your brain that scans reality. And what does it scan according to? It scans according what's here, according to your subconscious mind. So if in my subconscious mind, I have beliefs that say money is hard to make, or I have a family loyalty to poverty or to scarcity, then my brain is literally wired to scan reality for reasons to confirm that money is hard to make. So it will affect my personality, and I'm going to be someone who probably doesn't see opportunities when they come to me, or I'm going to be someone who doesn't act on their dreams, right? Because why? Because I'm wired for scarcity. All right. Now, how am I wired for scarcity or illness or conflict or betrayal, right? Like betrayal. Why and how? The law of mentalism is telling me that all versions of reality exist at the same time. In the quantum field, I am experiencing one of them. The variable that I am experiencing is the variable I believe in. Now, these beliefs are subconscious. Why? Because 98% or plus of your brain is unconscious. I just showed you when we did the exercise. Okay? So, my beliefs, I'm going to put CV. This is my core beliefs. My core beliefs are creating my thoughts. My thoughts are triggering an emotion. My emotions, according to my thoughts and my emotions, I am acting. And according to all of this, I'm obtaining a result, which I call my life. So, my core beliefs are unconscious. How did because you don't go through life thinking, I have a core belief, unless you explored your mind, but otherwise, you just don't know what your core beliefs are. You just know your thoughts, you know your emotions, you act accordingly, right? But you don't know what's underneath, right? So, and this is what I always teach you guys, right? Like, one more thing, right? This is what I always teach you. You have to think of your mind as having 3 planes. You have the conscious mind, which is your 3rd dimension, which is your life, the visible plane. And then you have the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, which is my core beliefs, right? And then you have the quantum field, the spiritual plane, the field of possibilities. All versions of reality are here at the same time. From my core beliefs that are unconscious, I'm choosing one version of these that becomes the image that I experience in my 3rd dimension. This is the mirror principle. Image, reflection. My life is a reflection of my core beliefs, right? According to my core beliefs, I think, my thoughts and emotions emit a vibration, right? My thoughts and emotions emit a vibration. The heart emits a vibration that is like stronger than the vibration of my thoughts. That's why it's said that your emotions are your point of attraction. You are a magnet. You are attracting from the field, right? And then according to this, you act, right? You show up. Your brain is wired to prove itself right. So in my core beliefs, I have beliefs of I am not enough. Then in my actions, I'm going to sabotage myself. I'm gonna literally sabotage myself, and then I'm gonna have results of I am not enough. I'm gonna fail, right? That's not because you're not enough. That's because your programming is of I am not enough. Now, How are these beliefs formed? How is a belief formed? Your beliefs, the subconscious mind, which is where your beliefs are, the subconscious mind learns in two ways. By repetition or by emotional impact. All right, what does this mean? Repetition. You grew up in an environment where you constantly heard that money is hard to make, that it is hard to live from what you love, right? That it is hard to make it with art, that, or whatever. You grew up hearing, you're gonna get sick. Oh my God, it's the winter. Be careful because you're gonna get sick. Don't be in the cold, you're gonna get sick. You watch TV and TV is showing you all the time ads for cold relief. It's the winter, you're gonna get a cold. If you got a cold, get this, right? Like, what is that? That's subconscious programming. Because your brain learns by repetition, especially when you are a kid, because from 0 to like 10 years old, your brain is a sponge. That's why little kids learn new languages so easily. Because your brain is a sponge. Why is it a sponge? Because it's in alpha. It's not in beta, which is that conscious awake, I'm awake. It's in alpha. So it's like a sponge. It's like more susceptible to suggestion. All right? So whatever you grew up around seeing, if you saw that your mom was a single mom and your auntie was a single mom and your grandma was a single mom and every woman in your family was abandoned, probably you're gonna learn an identity of, I am a single mom. That's what love is. Love equals abandonment, let's say, right? Repetition. That's why we have to reparent ourselves into changing the beliefs that we learned from our parents. Then there's emotional impact. What does it mean? There may be something that didn't happen repeatedly, but happened once and had so much emotional impact that it marked you forever. Freud said that a representation, like an idea, a belief, right? A thought, together with emotion is what stays stuck in the subconscious mind. Trauma, right? That abandoned me, that had a high emotional impact, I learned abandonment. So in my core beliefs, I created a belief that says love equals abandonment, or I will be abandoned, right? So this is unconscious. I don't think about that. Consciously, I think I want to be in a happy marriage that lasts forever. Yeah, but that's 2% of me. 98% of me is acting towards abandonment, right? That's how I'm creating my reality. So, how do we change a belief? You just learned how they are created, right? And how do I know my beliefs, right? How do I know what beliefs I carry? Well, look at your results. And whatever is repeatedly happening in your life, you have to know that you are the common denominator of your patterns. If you see something happen repeatedly, you have to say, hey, why do all of my partners cheat on me? Is it possible that probably I have a core belief about betrayal? Oh, yes, now that I think about it, when I was a little kid, I felt betrayed by my mom. And I forgave her, but that had a high emotional impact. So now I'm creating and recreating that because my thoughts are things. All right? Now, how do I change it? How do I change my beliefs? First, let's see. By the way, in my school, I have a whole class, a whole module on how mind creates reality and how to change your reality and how to reprogram. So if you want to dive deeper, join the school. In the school, you can also ask me questions every time we have live mentorships, all right? Okay, how do I change my beliefs? 3 steps. First, identify it, like we just say. Identify the belief. This is why you have to be self-observant. That's the best quality you can have, being self-observant. What am I thinking and why? Why am I reacting this way? Why do I continue to create this in my life? To join my school, you can use the link. I think it's under this video, the link. You should have a link here. And otherwise, it's in all of my, it's in my YouTube description. It is in my Instagram bio. It's everywhere. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So, or I'll put the link here. So, identify the belief. Second step to change my beliefs. Okay, I identified that I have a huge limiting belief about money. I just don't think I can be wealthy. I cancel that in Jesus' name. But let's say that that's what you think. Yes, there's sound. I see here there's sound. Guys, confirm that there's sound, please. Okay. Second, I have to question it. What does it mean to question? Awesome. Next person that says there's no sound, I kick them out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, but don't make me scared. All right, so once I identified, the first thing is I will question it. Is it true that it's hard to make money? Look around. Is it universally true? No, for some people it's really easy. Is it true that it takes too long to make money? No, it is not true. For some people, it's fast, right? Is it true that I will not find love? Ask yourself, is it true that I will end up alone? No, right? So a question, is it true? Is it really true? The answer will most times will be no. And then someone said some are born rich. Yeah, some people are born rich. And so what, right? Also, guys, know that thing of thinking, well, but that for that person is easier, that's bullshit. You chose your life. You need to live your life knowing that you chose it. You chose this life. Because your soul needed it, for whatever it is. Like, don't question the universe. Don't question creation. Because if you live life questioning creation, which is arrogant, it will only affect you. I'm not saying don't question. Of course, be someone who questions. But I'm just saying, trust that there's a reason why your soul chose this life. Trust that there's a reason why your soul chose these challenges. Probably your past life was super easy. And in this one, you chose it a little harder. Or the other way around. All right? Trust creation. Is it true? And then question, where does it come from? And you will see that your beliefs about life come from outside of you. Your parents, your trauma, the media, your school teachers, your classmates. It is a programming that comes from outside of you. It is not you. So once you question it and you realize this was never even mine to begin with, I just adopted it, you replace it. How do you replace it? Well, how did we say that the subconscious mind learns? What did we say? That the subconscious mind learns how? The subconscious mind learns by high emotional impact and by repetition. That's why it is so powerful to attend a retreat, for example, like a Joe Dispenza retreat. Why is it so powerful? Because you're going to be emotionally impacted there. Why is it impactful to attend a mastermind? Why is it impactful to go to a place where everyone is on the same? Why is like my school? Why is a live call impactful? Because it's a lot of people thinking the same, sharing their success stories, and it's like that's emotionally impactful, right? So it is repeat, repetition, or high emotional impact. So if I want to replace a belief that I have, I will repeatedly correct myself. I will repeatedly correct myself when I am thinking that thing. Okay, yes, retreats are coming. Retreats are definitely coming. I know that's my next level. I will repeat to myself the reality I want to create, because I want you to realize you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just beliefs. Your thoughts are just a result of your beliefs. Your beliefs are something that you adopted, it's a conditioning that you adopted from the outside world, but it was never true. So the first thing is realize, oh, this was never true. Now that I am observing this thought, I get to choose which one I want to install. And you learn by repetition. Guys, I used to work in machine learning. I used to be an annotator for Siri from Hey Siri, right? And I used to teach Siri Spanish. How did the machine learn Spanish? By repetition. We used to get millions of user utterances. And whenever Siri understood incorrectly, I would fix it and submit, fix and submit, fix and submit, until the machine understood the language, Spanish. With your life, it's the same. My brain is wired to think in a certain way. Well, my job, if I want to change my reality, because my mind is creating my reality, is to be self-aware, to be like a security guard 24/7, paying attention to how I'm thinking. What am I thinking? What am I saying? I pay attention, and when I notice a scarcity thought, I say, change. No. Of course I can make millions. Why not? Of course I can make millions. And I repeat, I teach my subconscious mind by repetition that which I need to believe in order to create the life that I want to create. That's why affirmations work. Do affirmations on their own work? I don't think so. But they work. Does taking protein on its own work for building muscle? Probably no. But if you're taking protein and you're taking creatine and you're working out and you're eating healthy, you're going to build muscle. All right? So affirmations, subliminal audios, visualization, these are ways in which we expose the subconscious mind to the new reality we want to create. Subliminal audios are great because they jump the barrier of the conscious mind. You cannot hear it with your conscious mind. They are lists of affirmations that are recorded at a frequency that the conscious mind cannot hear it, but the subconscious mind can. Remember, you are receiving so much more information than the one that you're consciously processing. Like billions, 98% of the information around you, you're not perceiving. So subliminal audios work amazing because they repeatedly tell your subconscious mind the new belief that you want to install. And that new belief will create new thoughts, which will create new emotions, which will create new actions, which will create new results. It's not magic. It is reprogramming my mind, which is creating my reality. This is also pray without ceasing. You know, the Bible says pray without ceasing. It's not like, oh, spend your day and night praying. Your attention is your prayer. Your thoughts are your prayer. Your thoughts are telling the field what to get more of, right? Your thoughts, your words. So, pray without ceasing. When you notice that you're having thoughts that stem from fear, that stem from doubt, that stem from negativity, that stem from scarcity, say, change. Oh no, I noticed this, like it's a liar. That thought is a lie. I choose what I believe. Remember, ask and it will be given to you. Ask and it will be given to you. That doesn't mean that whatever I ask for will be given to me. That means that everything I think will be with an emotion, like thought with emotion, will be given to me. I am asking whenever my mind is falling into negativity, whenever my mind is falling into fear, I am asking too. Whenever my mind is creating awful scenarios, I am asking too, because my brain doesn't distinguish between real and imagined. It just takes the order and says, yes, sir, and it goes into reality, scanning for that reality. All right? So be conscious of what you're thinking about. Be conscious of what you're thinking about. And here, the second law we talked about is the law of correspondence, but I will actually go into the law of cause and effect now to tie this together. It doesn't matter, you know, the order, obviously. It doesn't matter the order of the laws. We're going to go into the law of cause and effect. Why? All right. Why did I say the law of cause and effect? Because we were talking about how your beliefs create your thoughts, which create your actions, which trigger an emotion, right? Which create your actions, but you know what else? Your words. And this creates a result. Your words. All right, so we have the invisible, which is the cause. I mean, you know, the actions and words would count as the visible. So let's do it like this. And the visible, the effect. The visible. Right? Why did I say my words here? Why did I bring up words when we're talking about cause and effect? Why did I bring up the words? Because it is important that you start looking at how you talk. Why? If you think about it, the Bible, which we think of the Bible as this like metaphysics manual, right? Like not religious. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Mariana. I'm not religious. I'm not a Christian. I love God and I love Jesus. I love Krishna. I love Shiva. I am not religious. But the Bible gives so much importance to the words. So I want you to be impeccable with your words. That's one of the 4 agreements, if you know what I'm talking about. Be impeccable with your words. Your words are going to be a way to know what's happening inside of your mind, what your beliefs are. The way you speak has a lot of information, but it also creates. It has creative power. Bible, Matthew 12:36, for by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. Your words create. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs. It is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of their mouth. It is not what goes into the mouth, but what comes out of the mouth. As within, so without. Why am I talking to you about this? Because we tend to understand these laws and then go into life. And as soon as I hear someone complaining about money, I jump in. Oh my God, yeah, life sucks. I'm so bad at this. Business is not doing well. I cancel that. Your words are spells. Your words are a cause that will create an effect. So stop speaking like it's free. Because everything you say, everything you think, and everything you do will have an effect. Watch your words. Everything that you think, everything that you say, and everything that you do, everything that you think, everything that you say, and everything that you do will have an effect. This is the cause. So I want you to start being responsible for what you think, what you say, and what you do. Most importantly, I want you to be aware. I want you to be conscious now of what you think, what you say, and what you do, because that will have an effect in your life by law of cause and effect. Be impeccable with your words. Stop talking shit about yourself or about others. Stop talking shit, period, right? There's a phrase that's attributed. Someone said, I started saying cancel in the name of Jesus Christ when I say something I regret. Oh, thank you, because of my example. Okay, awesome. Yes, I do the same thing. When I say something and I'm like, I don't want to manifest that, I say, I cancel that. I like to say in Jesus' name because my grandma taught me to say things in Jesus' name and it works for me. I love Jesus, but there's no need. Like whatever you believe in, whatever means love to you, in the name of love, all right? How about swearing, says someone. I personally don't find it to be negative, to be, God doesn't want me to swear. No, like I think that thinking that swearing is negative is a belief. If you believe it's bad, then don't swear, because for you it's bad, so it will be bad. For me, it's not. So I don't find any negative energy around it. All right? Okay. All right. So there's a quote attributed to the Buddha. I don't know if the Buddha said this or not, but there's a quote attributed to the Buddha that is, if you want to know, listen to this, guys. If you want to know your past, if you want to, let me write it down. Past, present, future. It says, if you want to know your past, look at your present conditions, because they are the result. And if you want to know your future, look at your present, because it's the cause. If you want to know your past, look at your present conditions, because they are the result of your past. If you want to know your future, look at your present actions and consciousness, because they are the cause. What does this mean? The law of cause and effect teaches us to be here now, to stop pointing fingers at others. That person's saying bad words. That person is not wearing is wearing this. That person is wearing, no. Pay attention to your own thoughts, words, feelings, actions. Stop judging, because you are creating your reality. Right? Everything you say, do. And from this, I want you to understand. You know what I want you to understand? I want you to understand that you want to manifest something, right, in your reality. You want to have something. Having something is an effect of a cause. And you know what the cause is? Being and doing. You first have to be, and then you have to do, and then lastly you will have. So if you don't have yet, you have to look at who you're being and what you're doing. And with that, my loves, we go to what will be our third law, which is the law of correspondence. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. What time is it? Oh my God, this was supposed to last 1 hour. We had technical issues at the beginning. All right. Let me know how you're doing. So nice. You are blowing my mind with this lesson. Thank you. You're welcome. God bless you too. And if you like it, get more. Join my academy. All right. Third law. I actually put the link to join my academy in the description of the other video, but now that I had to change it, I don't know if it's there, but you can find that link. Let me know if you want me to send it there. All right, correspondence. I love the law of correspondence. All right, the law of correspondence tells us, as above, so below, as within, so without. As within, so without. Which means my state of being is creating my reality. As within, as within, so without. As within, so without. Everything I see outside of me exists within me. So if you're watching me now and there's anything you're judging, anything, I want you to know that that which you're judging exists within you. Whether you're looking at me and you're admiring me and you're thinking, oh my God, that girl knows so much. I love the way in which she explains. That beauty exists within you. The fact that you can admire how much I know or what I'm teaching you is because it exists, that exists within you, right? And if you're watching and you're just thinking, oh my God, look at whatever, criticizing, that also exists within you. Okay, as within, so without. But that's just like a note, like a footnote, because the main things that we're gonna learn here with this law, the first thing that I want you to know is that you will get what you want when you become the person it takes to have it. So if there's something in your reality that you want, you will get it when you become the person it takes to have it. Okay? So what we're gonna talk about now is identity. There's a book I always recommend to you guys, which is called Psycho-Cybernetics. If you haven't read it, read it. It's amazing. And it talks about how your self-concept, your identity creates your reality. All right? So the beliefs that I have about myself are going to make me behave and show up in a certain way that will create results that confirm that belief. That's why I always tell you, if I go around with a belief of I am not enough, the book is called Psycho-Cybernetics. Psycho-Cybernetics. If I go around with a belief that everyone abandons me, then I will create a reality where everyone abandons me, okay? And the second thing that we're gonna talk about in this law is the, on top of identity, so you have to do, what I mean by this is you have to do identity work, right? You cannot expect, for example, you want an amazing girlfriend. You want a girlfriend who is fit and successful and smart and loyal and attentive, whatever it is, right? You want an amazing girlfriend. You have to become the version of you who has an amazing girlfriend. You have to become the type of person who has an amazing girlfriend. Because wanting an amazing girlfriend while you behave like shit, then you're not being congruent. So congruence is the second aspect that I want you to look at in this law. If the law of correspondence is as within, so without, I need to understand that what's happening outside of me, is corresponds to what's inside of me. And I also need to understand that whatever I want, I have to become someone who corresponds. Like I have to, my thoughts, my actions, my choices have to correspond to the level, with the frequency. And we're going to the law of vibration in a second. The frequency of that which I want. So let's say that I always give you guys this example. I want more clients, or I want more followers, more audience, right? All right, awesome. If I'm not seeing it in my reality, I need to look at what part of me does not correspond with someone who has more followers. So what can I ask myself? Okay, why am I, if I don't have those clients and those followers, what is it? I'm not being chosen, right? So in what ways am I acting like from an identity of someone who is not chosen? In what ways am I not being congruent with someone who is chosen? Oh, I'm not choosing myself. I'm a people pleaser. I am in a relationship where I am treated, where I never choose myself, right? Where I sacrifice my health or my dreams to be with this person. So if I don't choose myself, by law of correspondence, I cannot manifest in my reality people who choose me. I will, by law of correspondence, manifest a reality that corresponds to a person who doesn't choose themselves. If I don't choose myself, my identity level choice, the signal that I'm giving the quantum field is I am not chosen. So I create a reality where I'm not chosen. So you have to ask yourself always, let's say, I want a partner. I want a partner who is loyal, and I want a partner who this and that. So you have to ask yourself, would a person who is loyal, let's say, date someone who is acting like me, date someone who is doing the things I do? Let's say you're like, I want to date someone who is fit. That's one of the things in my list. I want to date someone who is fit and disciplined. Okay. Would someone who is fit and disciplined date you? Are you fit and disciplined? Are you drinking alcohol? Are you hungover every Saturday because Friday night you were drinking? Because probably someone who is fit and disciplined wouldn't date someone who's every weekend hungover because they were drinking, right? And this is a very basic example, very visible example. Most things, most ways in which you're sabotaging yourself are invisible, right? They are subconscious, right? That's why I tell you, it's not about watching this class and it changed my life. It's about practicing daily. It's about having a mentor who can call you out on your patterns, on the ways in which you're sabotaging yourself and you're not realizing. I remember one time I was working with a client and he told me that, he liked this girl, whatever. So he went out and he was telling me that he wants to manifest a girl who is with God, who is like ready to get married and ready to have a family and this and that. And he told me that he was posting stories of him out in the bar drinking with his friends, right? And I told him, well, would the type of girl you're looking for be attracted to a man that's posting that type of stuff? Because I know I wouldn't. I'm not criticizing, I'm not judging, guys. If you do this, all good. Don't take things personal. But I know that I would not feel attracted to a guy who's posting every weekend that he's out in the bar drinking with his friends. Because I'm more attracted to a guy that on a Friday night is making a good meal, is reading a book, is like going camping, is getting ready for yoga tomorrow, is at the gym, but he's not drinking, right? So be congruent in your choices, in your actions, in your words with the reality you want to create, which takes me back to the past law, right? Like, you want your business to do well, but you're every day talking about how business is not doing well. You want to have money, but all your conversations are about how I don't have money, I am broke, I cancel that in Jesus' name, right? Let's say you're observing in your reality that you don't have money. Okay, awesome. Continuously repeating that will not make you money. And if you think, no, but if I say that I don't have money, that person is going to feel bad for me and they're going to help me. Your identity level choice is, I am a person who people feel sorry for and I need help. Is that who you want to be? I'm a person who people feel sorry for and needs help. Right? Last example that I'm going to give you with this. I used to be in a relationship and I wanted to create the life of my dreams. And in that relationship, I was miserable, but I didn't want to break up with him. In part, I really loved him. And like, it's not that I was with him for the money. No. He didn't give me any money, but I was living with him and I didn't think I could afford rent on my own because I wasn't making enough money. So I wanted to break up with this guy, but I didn't break up with him because in part, I didn't know how to pay rent on my own. Now, the more I stayed with him because I cannot pay, the more I created a reality in which I cannot pay because my identity level choice is I cannot pay. The moment I said fuck it and I moved out, even though I couldn't pay for rent, the moment I moved out, I created the conditions in which I could pay. I went from making $500 a month to making $5,000 a month in a month. Because I stopped identifying with the version of me who can't. And I decided to believe in the reality that I can. And remember, belief comes before reality. Belief comes before reality. This is the main teaching of the Bible. Believe. Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you already received it. Belief comes before reality. So if I continue to believe, if I continue to look at my reality right now says I don't have the money. If I look at it and because of that, I believe I don't have the money, I will never have it. But if I look at it and I realize that this is black and white, this is a result of my past states of consciousness, and that if I change who I am now, I will change. And if I will change what I see in the mirror, and I start choosing the reality of course I can. I choose to believe that I can. And I use these universal laws that I'm teaching you about. I change the conditions. All right? So look at your identity level choices and look at how congruent you are being. That's the law of correspondence. That's this choice. That's this decision. That's this habit correspond with the type of person who has that which I want, because you will get what you want when you become the type of person that it takes to handle it. All right. We go to the next law, which is the law of vibration. Law of vibration. This is the fourth. Vibration. The law of vibration tells us that everything is moving. Like we said, solid matter, it looks matter, but it's actually moving. It's vibrating at a certain frequency. So I want you to realize this. You are emitting a certain frequency, but so is the car that you want. The car that you want is also vibrating at a certain frequency. The people you attract are also vibrating at a certain frequency, right? Now, with this, I am not going to teach you. You have to match the frequency of the thing that you want so that you attract it. No, we're going to dive deeper. What we're going to talk about now is the following. There's two things that I want you to. First of all, law of vibration, you already know it. Everything has a frequency. By law of attraction, like attracts like perfectly. Now, with that, there's not much you can do. We're going to dive deeper. What I'm going to teach you is two things. One, I'm going to teach you about your reactions and your emotional wounds. I'm going to try to be concise. Your reactions is, I want you to realize that this comes from a book called Reality Transurfing. Reality Transurfing. Read this book. Anyway, the more emotionally you react to something, the more energy you give it. The more emotionally you react to something, the more energy you give it. So when you are going through your life and you face adversity, the worst thing you can do is emotionally react to it. When you don't like your president, the worst thing you can do is emotionally react to them, because you are feeding them. And that frequency, that energy that you're giving them through your reaction feeds them. It doesn't matter if it's positive, I love you, or negative, I hate you. You are giving them energy. So the best thing you can do is not let it hit you. Why do I say not let it hit you? Because reality transurfing talks about pendulums. Pendulums are collective energy. So for example, there's a pendulum about soccer, right? There's a soccer team. You can hate it or you can love them. Whatever you're doing, you're feeding that pendulum, the pendulum of them. And when you give it energy, it's stronger. When you, instead of reacting to it, you avoid it, it doesn't hit you, okay? So don't feed the pendulum of what you don't like. Don't give it your energy. This doesn't mean emotionally, spiritually bypass. This means choose how you respond to life. Start responding from your new identity instead of reacting to everything that happens. And remember that everything that happens, you created it. So you're reacting against yourself when you react. You see what I'm saying? Be conscious if you want to change. If you want to change your vibration, be conscious of your thoughts and emotions. Determine how you want to feel. Determine how you want to feel. And start looking for reasons to feel that way. That's how you start to change your vibration. Does it serve me to react emotionally to someone who cut me off in traffic? Does it serve me? No, right? So I cut with that reaction. I start choosing what deserves my emotional reactions. That's how I start taking care of my vibration. Remember, there's a mantra I have that I created for myself, which is, I will not let anything fuck with my frequency, because my frequency is creating my future. If everything is vibrating at a certain frequency and like attracts like, and I let anything fuck with my frequency will be fucked. And I will attract fucked people, fucked stuff, right? Like I fuck up myself. Fuck. So what I do is I say, I will not let anything fuck with my frequency. And when I notice that I am reacting to something, that I am letting something fuck with my frequency, this doesn't mean that you're going to avoid your emotions, that you're going to ignore your emotions. So let's go to the next one, emotional wounds. Sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I know that I have like an emotional wound about something. I know there's something that's hurting me, so I don't think about it. Because if I think about it, I will attract it. No. The pain that you already have in you, my love, is attracting either way. The shadow that you have in you, the emotional wounds that you have in you, they are operating and they are creating reality either way. Looking at them does not manifest more of it. Yes, I'm in pain, but I don't want to think about it, because if I think about it, I will attract more pain. So I don't think about it, so I store it away. No, my love, that's what we're talking about. Remember, 98% of you is unconscious, 2% of you is conscious. Both attract. Looking at that, part of that night, at what's in that 98%, is not going to attract more. It's just going to help you heal it and change it. So your emotional wounds that you are carrying, the pain, and I made a video on YouTube the other day talking about how ignoring your pain is ignoring yourself. And when you ignore yourself, you create a reality in which you feel ignored. Your emotional wounds, I want you to think like you is all of you, not just the parts of you that you like. You, the you that creates your reality, is all of you. It's not just the parts of you that you like. So if you have little things here that you don't like and they hurt a lot and you don't want to pay attention, that doesn't mean that they are not manifesting reality, right? So what happens is that when I want you to think about your shadows and your pain as a part of you that, like, let's say that you're carrying pain about a past relationship or about your parents or whatever, right? That's a part of you that's hurt. It's a part of you that's hurt. Imagine like a hurt puppy. It's hurt, it's in pain. And you're grabbing that hurt puppy or that hurt version of you, you're storing it in a dark closet, closing the door and saying, I will never look at you, closing the door. That person, that puppy is still in pain. It's not that because I'm not looking at it, it's not in pain. That part of you is still in pain. And that's why then you're like, everything is going great, but I'm anxious. I had the opportunity of my life, but I sabotaged it. I don't know why. You don't know why? You have a sad, neglected part of you in the closet. You have to go look at the closet. You have to look at the closet. Now we're so scared of that closet, as if that hurt part of me was a monster that's out to eat me. It is not. That's just a hurt part of you that needs your love, that needs to be said, to be told, for you to go open that door of that dark closet, look at them and say, hey, come here. I love you. I am here for you. What do you need to say? What do you need me to feel? And those stored emotions, why am I talking about stored emotions in the law of vibration? Because those stored emotions are frequency. Just because you don't look at them, it doesn't mean that they are not attracting, operating, vibrating. But when you feel them, when you move and you let them go, that's why in my class, in my last yoga class, we did an exercise where we're moving and we're shaking and we're jumping. That's it. They come down. You no longer carry them. Your emotions just want to be felt. But if you don't feel them, if you don't look at them, that's a vibration. Like you continue to emit the vibration of those emotions. Do not confuse yourself. I don't want to think about what hurts me because I'm going to manifest more of it. That's the biggest like lie we can tell ourselves. It's quite the opposite. Look at it, give it love, be there for it, because when you are there for that part of you that's in pain, you're being there for you. You're choosing you, all of you, not just the parts of you that you want to look at, because you are all of you. Don't abandon those parts of you. Don't abandon you. Because then in life, that abandonment is materialized. People abandon me, my clients abandon me. All right? Then someone said, so which is the suggestion? Feeling it, and then that's it. Is first of all, seeing it, being able to name it, being able to recognize, oh, I've been operating from this pain, and then feeling it all. And whenever I feel it in my body, identify it and feel it all, it's going to dissolve. It is going to dissolve. And then whatever you need to do afterwards, maybe after you feel it, you realize, oh, I have to call my dad. Oh, I have to forgive my mom. Oh, I have to, whatever action or whatever is needed after, it will come to you, because that hurt part of you that you were neglecting knows. All right? So you will know. The most important part is that you feel it, because when you feel it, you liberate it. All right, this is stuff that is stuck in your nervous system. That's why we work so much with the nervous system. This Saturday, in my we have a live mentorship in the school, in my school, Awakening Academy, and we're going to talk precisely about this, about integrating, about reprogramming and integrating those emotions that we have been neglecting, and also the emotions of the new reality, because sometimes you want to manifest a new reality, but those emotions are so unknown to you, unfamiliar to you, that your nervous system rejects them, because it's like, no, I'm familiar with the emotion of being left out, not with the emotion of being accepted, right? So in my school, I teach you about the different levels of manifestation, perception, identity, and nervous system. And then I teach you how to reprogram the nervous system to integrate energetically the new reality, to accept for my body, to stop thinking that the emotions of the new reality are unsafe. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about with my students this Saturday in my school. So join the school. And even if you're watching the replay of this class, you can join, because the replay of this class that I'm teaching this Saturday will also be in the school. So at any time that you're watching this class, you can join the school and you can have access to the class I'm talking about. On top of the fact that we have a whole module where I teach you how to reprogram your emotional wounds, and I give you meditations, deep and daily meditations to work with these emotional wounds. The most powerful thing you can do is to start to reprogram your energy. And a lot of that is nervous system work and shadow work. That's why I always tell you guys, join the school, because I cannot teach you all of that here. We are an hour and a half. Let's go. All right. So you see, Control. Watch your emotional reactions, start responding instead of reacting, and then also work on your wounds, because your emotional wounds, that's emotion that's stored here, and if you don't liberate it, if you don't feel it, if you don't let it go, it's there. It's your vibration. It's part of your vibration, all right? All right, we're gonna go on the fifth law, which is the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm. What's the law of rhythm? How can we make someone understand this when they don't want to listen to us? First, you have to respect everyone's timing and everyone's process. Second, send them to me. Send them to watch my YouTube videos. But you know what? The master appears when the student is ready. Those who have ears, let them hear. That's it. You cannot force anyone, right? If you find yourself wanting to make someone understand, ask yourself why. Why? Where does that need for control come from, right? Everything is about you, remember. All right. What the law of rhythm says is that everything comes in cycles, okay? So sometimes it's gonna feel like life is amazing and I'm at the top. Sometimes it's gonna feel like I'm at rock bottom. Sometimes it's gonna feel like business is going great. Sometimes it's gonna be slower. That's the law of rhythm. It's the law of the universe. So when you find yourself expecting that things should be going well always, and whenever things are not going great, it means that I'm not manifesting correctly, take a deep breath and remember, wait, it's the law of rhythm. It is one of the laws of the universe, and I don't go against it, right? So remember that by universal law, things are going to move in cycles, and you have to trust the process. Things are not always going to feel like you're at the top of the world, and things are not going to always feel like you are at rock bottom. Know that everything is temporary because of the law of rhythm. Okay? Trust the process. And remember that this is important. For everything that you want to attract, write this down. For everything that you want to attract, you will find a challenge. And that challenge will most likely look like an obstacle. And that obstacle is asking me if I truly believe in what I want. If I want to manifest something, I have to believe in it. Belief creates results. In order to see it, I have to believe in it. So when I am going for that result and I find a big obstacle, that obstacle is a challenge. It is a challenge that is asking me to pay my proof of faith. Proof of faith. It's asking me, do you actually believe in it? So when I start going somewhere, when I want to manifest something, I know that there's going to be a price. There's a price in a lot of regards. The price will be, for example, aspects of your life that will have to crumble because they are not congruent. They don't match. They don't exist in the same timeline where you have, for example, you want the success, but you want to keep but you want to keep the people who treat you bad. And sometimes life is going to tell you the version of you who's successful already let go of the people who treat you bad. So you either stay with the people who treat you bad or you have the success. You choose. So that's the price. The price is I have to let go of the people in my life that treat me bad in order to become the version of me that's successful, right? So, and this is the same. So that's one of the prices. But then the price that you will always have to pay, this price is, you cannot neglect it. You have to believe it's possible. You have to believe in it before you see it. Okay? So understand that everything that you want to manifest will come with a challenge, with an obstacle that is asking for my proof of faith. That's why I always tell you that you have to act before you see the how. People who are living extraordinary lives have one thing in common, and that's that they always took a step without having full proof that they were going to succeed. People who stay stuck because they are waiting for life to show them, yes, everything is going to go great. You're going to make it before they take a first step. But when you start realizing that you take a step and then the universe puts the floor and you take another step and then God puts the floor and you are co-creating with God. If you are waiting for God to show you the full picture, the full how, in order to take that step, you will never take that step. And you will never do it because you have to show your proof of faith by taking action. You have to show your proof of faith by taking action. For me, when I created my dream life, I had to go and prove that I believed in myself by putting myself out there, creating a TikTok, creating a YouTube channel when I had 0 followers. It's cringe, yes, but I believed in my vision so much that I gave the universe my proof of faith. Another proof of faith that I gave the universe, and I'm not saying do this at home, I'm saying this is what I did, is I moved out of my boyfriend's house without having a job. I used my savings to pay for the first month of rent, and then I was like, okay, and now what? And everyone was telling me, Ari, you're crazy. Go find a barista job. Go find a waitress job. Go find a job. Go find a 9-to-5, right? Because it's not like I studied, I went to college, I graduated, I have certifications, but I didn't want to work a 9-to-5, an office job, a corporate job. And I didn't want to be a barista. So I had to give the universe my proof of faith. And I said, no, I'm not saying do this at home. Sometimes it will require that you do take that barista job, okay? Your story is your story. But the point is, I gave that proof of faith of I'm going to take a step, even though I don't know how I'm going to make it. Because what I do know is that the universe has my back. And what I do know is that my vision is possible. This is my calling. I'm going to be a mentor. I'm going to be a YouTuber. I'm going to make it happen. That was my proof of faith. I risked it all for it, okay? So there's going to be a proof of faith. For example, if you're in a relationship, this happens a lot. I see it a lot. People who are in a relationship and they are not happy, but they don't break up because they cannot make a living on their own. If you continue to stay in a relationship because you cannot make a living on your own, you will never be the version of you that can make a living on your own. You have to believe that it is possible for you to make a living on your own. Start making moves. Start acting like the version of you that's making a living on their own, that broke up with this person and stuff, that made moves, that took action. And then you're going to start creating the version of you, becoming the version of you who can make a living on their own. Believe before you see it. All right? Next law, the law of polarity. The law of polarity is really cool, guys. I'm going to tell you, this is something that a lot of people are usually super interested in. The concept of excess potential. The concept of excess potential. You may be more familiar to this when it comes to detachment. You know, people ask me, the law of detachment, and how do I detach? And what's the difference between wanting and being attached, right? So we're going to talk about it with the law of polarity. The law of polarity, like I said, tells us that everything is dual, everything has opposites. Everything has opposites. Everything in the world has opposites. You are a dual person. Your loved one, your husband, what did I say? Your loved one, your husband, the person you're in love with, they are they are not outside of the law of polarity. So every single person that has a lot of light, they also have a lot of darkness. This will help you understand that nobody's perfect. And when you can accept the duality within you, you're going to be able to accept duality outside of you. You are not perfect. For everything that's great about you, there's also stuff that's really fucked up about you, and that's okay, because you're not outside of the universal laws. Same with others, okay? But that's not what we're going to talk about necessarily. Something else I want to mention about the law of polarity is just that I could give you an hour-long class about or more about each of these laws. So something else that I want to mention about the law of polarity is that you will help yourself a lot if you learn to repolarize. What do you mean? What do I mean by repolarizing? I mean, whenever you experience something that's seemingly negative, remember that there's a reason why it can be really positive. I told you about this in my last Instagram reel, where I was telling you, you are having a problem. The way to get out of this problem is to begin to repolarize it. Start thinking about narratives that could make this problem actually be something that's happening for you and not against you. An example, I start having problems in my house. I have a lot of leaks, or I have mold. Oh my God, fuck my life. I have mold, whatever, right? Instead of seeing it as an issue, I can see it like, oh, God is sending me mold because I am going to move to a new house. That's better. Or because I'm going to move to a new house, and in that new neighborhood, I'm going to meet the love of my life. Or God is sending me to a new mold because I'm going to move, because in the future there's going to be a big flood and this house is going to get really fucked up, and God is saving me from this, right? So there's so many positive narratives for which this could be happening. So repolarize what's happening in your life. Your problems, start telling yourself the million narratives on why this could be positive. Adversity, Napoleon Hill says, adversity has the seed of an equally, what is it that he says? Where's the book? All right. Let me read it to you here. Equivalent. That's the word I couldn't say. Equivalent benefit. So adversity contains the seed of an equivalent benefit, because that adversity is dual. It's not just negative. Nothing is just negative or just positive. Everything is. Remember that nothing has meaning on its own except for the one you give it. How many things happened in your past that you're like, you thought the world was ending, and now you look back and you're like, thank God this happened. Thank God this happened. Thank God this happened. Thank God this happened. For me, my most painful breakup gave birth to the love of my life, which is my creative project, Cosmic Ari, my purpose. My most painful breakup put me out of my comfort zone so much and made me, you know why? Napoleon Hill says that adversity has the seed of an equivalent benefit, because it forces you to think differently. It forces you to get out of that autopilot, of that same identity, and it makes you be different. My most painful breakup, where I had to move out of his house, and I was like, what am I gonna do now? It was so painful that I was like, fuck it, we ball. I'm gonna create a YouTube channel, because what can be more painful than this anyway? And it gave me the true love of my life, which was my creative project, Cosmic Ari. I'm not saying my business. I'm saying my purpose. All right? So repolarize your problems. Another aspect that we're going to talk about when it comes to the law of polarity is the concept of excess potential. Excess potential. What do I mean by excess potential? When you put something on a pedestal, I want to manifest this and I'm not going to be happy until I have it. I am chasing it. What happens with this is that, and I'm going to put it in color so that you really see it. The more importance, we're talking about the law of polarity, okay? The more importance you give to something, the more resistance you give to something. Write this down in your notes, guys. The more importance I give it, the more resistance I give it, the more tension between me and that thing that I want. So when I want to manifest something and I'm like, I'm not going to be happy until that happens, and I am chasing it, it's running away from me. There's so much tension. Hi, Ross. There's so much tension between me and that which I want. There's so much tension that I am repelling it energetically because I'm giving it so much importance that I'm giving it so much resistance. That's the polarity, the duality of this universe. So how do I avoid this? Well, the way to stop giving it excess potential is 1, action. Action begins to dissolve that excess potential. When I'm taking action for that which I want, it's like I'm materializing. I'm materializing some of that energy. Second is gratitude. Instead of being like chasing it, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful because I know it's coming, because I believe it's coming. Gratitude and action will help relieve that excess potential that we give to things sometimes. Okay? But then something else is straight up detachment. Detachment, not in the sense that I'm detached. I don't want it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to, it's more than okay. It's actually necessary to have that burning desire for it. But a sweet obsession, Napoleon Hill says, sweet obsession, burning desire. I want it, but I don't want it from a place of lack. I want it from a place of, I love myself so much and I love my expansion, so I want that now. But my happiness doesn't depend on it, because if my happiness depends on it, I'm putting it on a pedestal. And if it's on a pedestal, it's looking down at me. It's outside of my reach. If that which I want is on a pedestal, it's looking down at me. It's outside of my reach. So take your manifestation out of the pedestal by loving your now, by being here now, loving your now, and just resting in that trust that it's coming, that you already have it. There's a version of you that already has it, and you're gonna see it materialize in your life in the perfect moment, because everything is perfect. The problem, the resistance starts happening when you think there's something wrong with the present moment. Like, this present moment would be perfect if I already had that thing that I want. So what's your vibration? What's your signal that you're giving the field? This moment is not perfect. Now, if you're like, I love my life, this is perfect, and I love the process, and I trust the process, and I love who I am, and I want to gift myself that thing that I want, and I'm going to work for it, and I'm going to become them, you're loving yourself. You're giving yourself the gift of becoming a more expanded version of you. And by law of attraction, it's going to come. By law of vibration, it's going to come in perfect timing. But if you live your life thinking there's something wrong with the conditions, you're not realizing that the conditions are always perfect, because the third dimension doesn't lie. Your life doesn't lie. Your life is a materialization of what's within you. So if within you, you're like upset because you still don't have that thing, you're not getting it. It's not clocking. What is it that Justin Bieber said? It's not clocking to you, is it? It's not clocking to you that you should love now. Love now. Love the now. Have that burning desire, but without giving it the importance of your life. I want it, but I'm happy either way. I want it, but I'm okay either way. Because I am enough. You see what it means? I am enough. The only conditioning for my happiness is being me. The only conditioning factor for my happiness is being me. I am in love with the character I came here to play. And now, actually, that was the 6th one. We're going on the last one. The last law, which is the law of gender. Like I said, some scholars call it the law of gestation. Gender, gestation. Okay, simple, simple, simple. Everything contains both feminine and masculine, right? So, creation starts in the mind, right? But it doesn't happen without action. Everything that you see in your reality, this marker exists because someone did it. But before someone did it, someone designed it in their mind. It existed in the mind first. And then through action, that action was the bridge that brought it into the physical world. So that's what happens with everything. You have an idea. I want to become a YouTuber. Okay, awesome. It's worthless for you to sit down every day and visualize that you're a YouTuber if you don't create a YouTube channel and start making videos, taking that action, okay? So this is also the energies of receiving and giving, right? So I want you to realize this. These two energies, this is not biological sex. These two energies have to be balanced with you. Sometimes I see people who are meditating a lot and visualizing a lot and affirming a lot, but they are not acting on it. They are not making the hard decisions that they have to make in order to make it happen. Or the other way around. They're taking action, but without looking at what they are thinking, without relaxing, without learning to receive. I can be doing both, right? I can be meditating and listening to my intuition, and I can be taking action, but I haven't learned how to receive. So if I don't learn how to receive, and I'm only giving, I cannot receive the blessings. And the other way around, if I expect life to give me more, but when it comes to give, I don't give because I live in the scarcity of like, if I give, I don't have enough for myself. If these two are not balanced, then I don't see the results. So if you're not seeing results, ask yourself if you're balancing this all right. Because in order to receive, you have to give. Nothing. Only that which hasn't been given can be lacking. So if you're not receiving something, look at how you're not giving it. That's why I always tell you guys, look at this. Look at this beautiful explanation of the law of gender. If you want more of something, you have to give it. What does it mean? If I want more energy, physical energy, I have to work out more. The less I work out, the more lethargic I become. The more I'm stingy with my money, the more I'm like, I don't want to invest. The less money I'm going to receive, because money needs to flow. The more money, I've never received as much money as when I started investing it all in mentors. I started spending all of my money in mentors in my mind, which creates my reality. And that's when I started receiving more and more. If you want more of something, you have to use it. And that's how you balance the energies of giving and receiving. Universal law. Sometimes you're going to be on social media and you're going to see a reel that says, for example, you have to rest more. If you don't rest, how are you going to receive, right? Like, and that may apply to someone else, but not to you. Maybe you need to stop resting and you need to start taking action. Maybe you need to get out of the couch. So realize that this is something that you need to look at how you are working, right? I cannot tell you, all of you guys need to have more masculine energy. All of you guys have to be more in your feminine. No. That depends on each of us. I realized that I was too much in my masculine when I was working, and not allowing myself to rest. And to me, a rest day meant guilt. If I was forced to rest because I had surgery, I was like feeling guilty because I should be working. That means that I need to balance, that I need to go back into learning how to rest. The law of rhythm also, right? At times you're going to have to rest, at times you're going to have to work hard. Learn to balance those energies. And with this, the last thing that I want to mention is remember also that some people see it as the law of gestation, right? That means that everything creation also requires an incubation period. There's going to be a period in which you're acting, you're meditating, you're scripting, you are taking action, and you don't see the results. Trust the process. The universe is rearranging itself, right? I have a friend who, she was telling me the other day, right? Like, she was in this relationship for years, and she wants to get married and to live with him and stuff. And just now, the guy started making moves to live together and get married and stuff. And I'm like, that's beautiful, because it's crazy. It's beautiful to watch how all of this time it wasn't happening. Like, he wasn't trying to live with you or get married and stuff, because there was all this incubation period in which you had to heal all of your daddy issues, right? This girl was in this relationship for years and nothing moved. When she worked on her issues that she had with her dad and started rewiring her mind and working on her, this is a person who is in my academy. She started working on her emotional wounds and her identity and stuff. When she started healing that, suddenly her boyfriend is like looking at rings and talking more about the future, about having kids and stuff. The change never had to happen in her boyfriend. The change is always internal. And the more you do this work, and the more you start moving the pieces within, and the more you expose yourself to this content and commit and gain momentum, the more the universe starts rearranging itself and the change happens outside. Okay? One of my clients was telling me today, I have been for years trying to restore my relationship with my dad. And I told her, that's the issue. That what you have to restore is not the relationship with your dad. What you have to restore is the daddy issues that you are carrying. And when you start moving those emotions around, when you allow yourself to feel all of that anger that you feel for your dad, all of those triggers, all of those emotions that have been stored that you have not been wanting to look at, when you allow yourself to feel that and release that, you'll see how the relationship with your dad restores itself. Because as within, so without, love correspondence. All right? So trust the process. Remember, don't be anxious. Be patient. How do I build patience as I go through this period of incubation in which everything is reorganizing itself for me to manifest that? Build self-confidence. Fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with yourself. And part of that is this. Be exposed yourself again. Watching this class will do nothing if you don't start practicing, right? Remember we talked a lot about beliefs, about identifying your beliefs, your patterns, your emotional wounds, right? For that, you have to do the work daily. And the best way to do the work daily is to immerse yourself in this type of content, in this type of conversations, in this type of classes, and to get a mentor. I cannot stress this enough. Having mentors has been the best investment of my life. I wish I had done it sooner. So if you want me as your mentor one-on-one, or if you want to be in my school, I invite you to join, because I believe that what changed my life will change yours too. So you're more than invited. If you want to join, the link is under this video. Whenever this video is done, it's under this video, and you can always reach out to me. Someone said, I really want to attend your school, but I'm a foreigner and I don't know what to do with the language. Have you had foreign students? Thank you, Michelle. Michelle says she recommends. My school is super international. We have students from all over the world, from all the languages, literally. People from France, Spain, Canada, India, Argentina, Brazil, London, I don't know, Switzerland, literally fucking Haiti. Shout out to my Haitian student. Everywhere, guys. So yes, everyone has an accent. It's beautiful to see actually the diversity of our school. So in fact, one of my students, her English, she's learning English and she loves it. So I think you're going to feel super comfortable there. And yes, guys, so you're more than invited to join my school. Remember, we have bi-weekly, and I think they're going to become weekly, but we have bi-weekly Zoom calls where we have coaching, live coaching. And the next one is this Saturday. All of the calls are recorded. All of the calls are recorded and posted in the portal. So if you miss one, you have access to all of them. If you join now, you have access to all of the recorded, the replays of the past meetings. It's go at your own rhythm. So you're going to join and you're not going to be behind, because it's designed for you to join whenever. The idea is that you join and you stay. The idea is that you take this as through your year, that you use this as your space for building, for reprogramming your mind, for mastering your mind. It's not a course that you take and then you leave. I'm constantly posting new classes, and we have the group mentorships bi-weekly, but I think I'm going to make them weekly, because I want people to have a weekly check-in with me so that they don't lose that momentum. The importance of the commitment and the momentum is huge. So I think I'm going to change it to weekly. I don't have live group meetings in person, and I will soon have live events in person. Definitely, I will. But for now, I recommend that you join. I want you to know that when I started with manifestation, one of the mentors that I followed, she had a subscription that was $100 a month, $100 a month, which to me now, that's very little, thank God. All glory to God. And I couldn't afford it. Like I said, I was making $500 a month, so I definitely couldn't pay $100 a month for a subscription. And I started applying everything I saw in her YouTube channel, all of her free teachings. That's why I do this. Because if you apply these teachings, you will have, if you right now don't have the $100 a month to join my academy, apply all of the content that I'm giving you for free. Stay tuned to my YouTube channel. Stay tuned to my Instagram. Apply, and in a month, you're going to have the money to join my academy. But I want you to know that when I started, I couldn't afford $100 a month. And after applying all of these principles, now to me, that would be the cheap. I'm not even in a mentorship of $100 a month because all of my mentorships are thousands of dollars. Why? Because I applied these principles. And I tell you this so that you, if you see, oh, there's a mentorship, I want to be in that academy, it's $100 a month, I can't, fuck that. Believe in the version of you who can. You will soon. Apply. If you cannot afford it now, it's because you right now don't need it. It's because look, guys, this is important. If you want to be in my academy or to work one-on-one with me and you cannot afford it yet, it's because that's not what you need. What you need is to watch my free content and apply it. Once you need it, you will have the resources to access it. If right now you want a one-on-one with me and you cannot afford a one-on-one with me and you can only afford the school, it's because you don't need a one-on-one with me. You need to join the school. You need to apply what you learn in the school. And when you apply what you learn in the school, you will become the version of you who's making enough money to have a one-on-one with me. Realize that you're exactly where you're meant to be, and what you need right now is accessible to you. If you don't have access, it's because that's not what you need. Take a step back and look at, okay, what do I need right now? I started consuming free content of my mentors, and now I can have any mentor I want because I applied. So believe in where you are now. You are doing great. You just have to apply. There's hours and hours and hours of free content in my YouTube channel. Use it. And when you're ready, invest. Because investing in your mind is telling the field, is telling yourself that you believe that this money is going to come back. That you believe that that you have that capacity for change. That capacity to become the version of you for whom this $100 a month that my academy is nothing. And I'm not saying it's nothing. I know that all over the world, like probably in the US it's not a lot, but probably in another country it's a lot. What I want you to know is that wherever you are, you can become the version of you that can have it and more. Apply what you're learning. And never think that you need something that you don't have. If you don't have it, it's because that's not what you need yet. Because you always have the tools that you need to play this level of the game. So in the level that you are at, you always have the tools. If you don't see them, look again, because they are closer than you think. Okay? All right. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Leave a comment, leave a like. Help me out, share this video, and that helps me out a lot. So with the engagement, so let me know if you like the class, and if you didn't like it, don't let me know. Just kidding. Bye guys, love you.